And I wasn't able to do a live. There we go, I'm live now. Anyway, welcome YouTube. I'm just on TikTok here. That's why you'll only see that side of my face. I was actually in Victoria, but it's right there. My boyfriend is a truck driver. Oh, so you were with him driving around? Excellent. Victoria, Washington. I was actually in Victoria. I didn't know there was a Victoria, Washington. There's a Victoria, Canada too, like BC. I did not know that. Okay, so where are you from? Well, I'm glad you were here when the weather's so good. Usually we get a really good August. Last year was, oh geez, forests were dying out, but not just from forest fires, but we just had no water for like months last summer. I think it was last summer. Anyway, so Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. Okay. Oh, I've got 100 people in here now, so let's get going. I was shut down on TikTok earlier. I don't know what was happening there. Anyway, so it's up and running again. Here I go. You could still see it, but I wasn't able to film or do a live, so I was freaking out. So thought, oh, I don't want my TikTok to die. And I looked up everything, and they said, if you've posted adult content, and I don't do any of that. So I'm like, why on earth would I be shut down? So anyway, let's get going with your parenting questions. If you go on the link above, you can hire me for coaching, buy one of my courses, or download my free behavior board. That's just a small part of what we do, but it shows you how to start giving respect to get it, because you're on there too. So let's get going with your parenting questions. Oops. Oh, Arizona, Germany. Hi, Germany. I was there for Oktoberfest, 1980. I was 20. I turned 20 when I was in Europe. Okay, so let's get going here. Now, I can't say your name. I'm not even going to try. Hello, my kid is 3.5 years old. He's throwing things, hitting me, biting me, pulling at my hair. Not really a tantrum. No, I actually have a course on that. Toddlers who hit, bite, etc. A whole course on that. It's just one of my mini courses if you're interested. It's in the link above. Everything I have to offer is in the link above. Free and paid stuff. So I've got courses, coaching, and then my free behavior board. But yeah, there's a whole, it's not a tantrum. And you know what a tantrum is. They're screaming, and it's when they completely lose it. If they're just hitting in that, they're just totally in charge. They don't respect you. So you got to work on that. But yeah, it's, if he's 3.5, I would put him on the behavior board and I would say no hitting. But also it sort of explains why they do that in that course. It's just manipulation, just because it's worked in the past. By 3.5, they're only doing what works. It means it would have worked. Would have either got you upset, got him attention, or got him what he wanted. Never been to Arizona. A lot of people, snowbirds go down there. I'm almost 65. Maybe I'll go down there when I'm 65. Okay. I've watched all your videos and love you. Thanks so much. Know how you're going to answer every comment. You know what's really funny is I met some new people last night, and I was telling them how, because I've been on here a while now, and 113, yikes. I've been on here a while now, and I said, if I don't answer a question, because it flips through and I don't get to them all, and then my regulars will answer it for me. So it's like I have assistants. It's wonderful. Okay. My child almost 2 hits for no reason when we try to, I don't know. Anyway, reprimand him. Yeah, they're just toddlers. Read everything I've got. Oh, shoot. TikTok's done a lot of changes on here. Maybe that's why it shut me down, because it was upgrading a whole bunch of stuff. But it just said I'm supposed to edit my comments. So I don't do that. I don't know what that means. I've never blocked anyone either. But anyway, what was the question? Sorry, it's just TikTok was sending me some information. Okay, 2-year-old hits for no reason. It's not no reason. They just hit because they're 2. Read everything I've got on there about toddlers. If they hit, you have consistent corrective action. You say no, and you make sure there's a consistent corrective action, because they learn through repetition. Toddlers don't make any sense because they don't have sense yet. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming and developing. So yeah, it's up to you to correct that, but you don't talk to them. It's actions. They're not listening to you. They're watching you. It's all actions. These mini therapy sessions with toddlers, God, I hate those stupid things. They're so trendy right now. And they're just for you. They're not for your toddler at all. Okay, my 8-year-old pees in his bed every 3 to 4 months, and we don't know why. Why can this be? Well, I don't know what's going on there. If it's only every 3 to 4 months, does he have something to drink? Oh, does he drink caffeinated things like Coke and stuff like that, like sodas that have caffeine in them? That could be it. But I'm not a doctor, so I can't really answer that. If you want my help to figure it out, maybe you could hire me. I don't know why he's doing that. reprimand him, he laughs and does it more. Yeah, it just takes a while. Yeah, they won't learn the first 20 or 50 times. They might learn the 100th time or the 150th time. They eventually lean into what works and lean away from what doesn't. But it takes time, it takes repetition. You know, there's no problem with toddlers at all. It's just your expectations of them are out of whack. Your understanding of them is out of whack. They're crazy. They're just that. Well, I always call them crazy, but really they're just not formed yet. They're not sane yet. So you're expecting sanity from a 2-year-old? Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years, and the first of those 2 years you were a potato laying on a mattress. You just haven't got any sanity yet. You're one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. They're cute as a button, but they're, crazy. Do you know, whenever I'm hired by someone with older kids and they also have toddlers, they never ask me about their toddlers. They understand toddlers are just forming. So yeah, don't try and figure them out. They don't make any sense yet. The 3 tips I can give you with toddlers. One is to childproof your whole house so that you never have to say no to them. The other one is to rotate their toys, have a toy rotation system. I've got all sorts of videos on all this stuff. And so that they never get bored. And also the third one, to start building respect with them, is when you're playing with them, enter their world, act like they do, like get right in their world. They'll start to connect with you more and start to respect you more as time goes on. Okay. Again, you're asking about 1-year-old favoring one parent. I don't know. They don't make any sense. They're just going through stage after stage after stage, and none of them make any sense. Don't try and make sense out of them. Just go with the flow. Any advice on 3-year-old to stop teasing the baby? He gets plenty of undivided attention. Any advice on 3-year-old to stop teasing? I don't know what he's doing, though. What do you mean teasing? I would say, he's 3. I would put on the behavior board, no teasing the baby. And if he does, there's a consequence. And then you also say, I will decide what teasing is. If he argues with you, say, I decided that's teasing. Don't start justifying your rule. Don't start explaining yourself. Don't start defending yourself with your kids. You are in big trouble if you do. But I wasn't teasing. Yeah, you were. End of conversation. Well, you asked about a 4-year-old acting out. It's not your kid. I teach parenting. I don't know why I don't know you, and I don't know that 4-year-old, so I haven't got a clue. Hi, time to start tapping. Was that one of those troll things? I don't know. Teens wanting significant others to sleep over. Yikes, that's a coaching issue. I will not discuss that on here. It's a very sensitive issue, and it depends on the situation. There's no black and white answer to that at all. If you want my help with that, you have to hire me. Okay, it's all in the link. Everything I've got is in the link above. Daughter just turned 3. Any advice for leaving playground without meltdown? Nope. She will learn. But give her a bit of a warning. Say, we're going to be leaving in 5 minutes. We're going to be leaving in 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute's up. Let's go. She'll start screaming and kicking. Just pick her up and carry her home, or just stand there and let her tantrum. But don't let her get back to any fun. Like if she runs back to a swing or something, you stop her. Oh, no, I always tap when what does tapping mean? Always tap. Oh, double tapping means like. Oh, I see. So you're not trolling. You're actually supporting me. Sorry about that. I was trying to get out of something once, and I double tapped, and then I realized that's what you do. I don't know anything about this stuff. I just come on here and film. I don't look at TikTok or anything. A timer works for the playground for us. Yeah, I suggest timers, watches, anything, and especially when an alarm goes off. So have your watch or your phone go, beep, beep, okay, time to go. Or beep, beep, 1 more minute, so timers are really good because it sort of takes the onus off of you too. And it makes you look official. Can you imagine having a sports coach without a timer if you're racing? Like, it's more official. There's something about it. Just makes them look like they know what they're doing. Thanks for the double tap. That's funny that I thought you were trolling me. I do get trolls on here. I've never blocked anyone. This sounds kind of weird, but I really like the trolls because usually it's competition who comes in and does that. They get other people to do it. This is what I've been told. And it means I'm a threat. So it's a compliment. I take it as a compliment that someone's going to take the time to hate me that much to type something mean. I'm old. That's the way I interpret stuff. Okay. That's why I've never been bullied. A timer works like, okay, 3- and 4-year-old both want hugs and cuddles during tantrums. Do I put off and ignore them? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I ignore the crazy and reward the calm. Once they're done, say, And I want to hug. Okay. And give them a little hug like this. Yeah. Okay. I love you. Okay. Let's go. You don't coddle them through a tantrum. It's rewarding the tantrum. But yeah, ignoring a tantrum is the best way to go. And plus, if ignoring a tantrum messes up your kid, you got bigger fish to fry. They don't feel secure. They don't know how much you love them. You got other stuff to work on. So ignoring a tantrum is completely fine with a child who feels loved, validated, and all that stuff. You do not need to validate a tantrum. That's absolutely ludicrous. Makes no sense. What you're doing is you're rewarding the tantrum. You're saying, oh God, these tantrums are great. Keep having them. That's what you're doing. Okay. How does authoritarian leadership style impact adult parent style? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not an authority, I'm a leader. And then there's the pleaser. There's the authority, the old-fashioned way of parenting, my way or the highway, I'm your parent, you do what I say. Those teenagers tend to resent their parents, but thank them later. And they tend to turn out just fine. Okay? The pleaser parent is a total train wreck. Total train wreck. It's really trendy right now. You tend to more likely to raise self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. You didn't validate my feelings. I'm just the bus driver, lady. Like, that's the kind of stuff, you know. I don't want to get political here, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening right now, and I know it's because of that style of parenting. I saw it coming a mile away. Anyway, no one listened to me then. They're listening to me now, though. What happens is when you do try that trendy pleaser style parenting, it backfires. So I get the backfire parents. I get those parents who say, well, I was doing everything right. No, you weren't. You were doing the pleaser parenting. If you're going to err on either side, the authority is the way to go, because you tend to raise stronger and just nicer, stronger individuals, more independent kids too. And the pleaser parent style, this is a typical pleaser parent thing. Typical. Participation awards. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard of in your whole life? As soon as I heard that, I thought, you are kidding me. That was like 30 years ago when I heard that. Are you freaking kidding me? Participation awards. So your kids do anything and they get an award. They just get an award for anything. They get rewarded for just breathing. There's a reward in it. It is so stupid. They learn to not earn anything. They're very self-entitled. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Gee, that peeved me off when I heard about that. Are you freaking kidding me? Not that I'm opinionated. I'm old. I can be opinionated. I've been doing this for so many years now. I've seen it all. Okay, I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot of it. Okay, my 8-year-old daughter cries and whines over anything and everything, even when she's not in trouble. Phase. It's not a phase. I don't know what's going on there. That's not a phase. Like, what I mean is they don't usually go through that. I'm wondering if okay. There's two reasons for that. Either it works, like there's some reason they only do what works when they're that age. Like they lean towards what works, or there's some outside influence that's upsetting her. It might not be something huge. Don't worry. It might not be something horrible, but there's either an outside influence that's upsetting her, or yeah, it's a payoff. Are you rewarding it? Is there a payoff? They only do what works, or there's something going on that you don't know about. You might want to hire me. I could figure that out. Wouldn't take me long. Anyway, if you do, it's all in the link above there in my bio. Okay. Yeah. How will they ever learn to be okay with losing as an adult? No lessons learned. Yeah, life is tough. Here's my thing. Our home life was wonderful. The kids were happy. It was fun. It was great. When they went out in the world, I never wanted to make it easy for them. I kind of always hoped they got a difficult teacher, that they were approached by bullies. I wanted them to learn fortitude, learn strength. I sort of armed them how to deal with bullying, how to deal with difficult teachers. I wanted them to learn stuff. But at home, our life was wonderful. Fun. We just laughed all the time, didn't have to discipline them. They were easy kids because we have mutual respect going. That's that leadership parenting I teach. So yeah, but when they went out in the world, it's like, yeah, that's good luck with that. Like, you got to learn how to cope when you're out in the real world. I wanted to prepare my kids for the real world, not the fluffy world. Okay, because there is no fluffy world. Please don't trust anyone, not even family. I don't know what you mean. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. How to handle a child who feels like I love their sibling more than I do her. I don't know what's going on. I have to figure that out. I can't, because I don't know what kind of parent you are. How are you parenting? I can't answer that. You see what I mean? But the best thing you can do to have family unity, like if they're not getting along or if there's something like that going on, you don't do one-on-one attention with each kid. That's ridiculous. You you do things with all of them. As a group, you do stuff as a family. It builds family unity. It builds sibling relationships. Yeah. Yeah, life isn't a bowl of cherries, as my grandma would say. Yeah. You know, my mom used to say, my mom was my mentor. I looked up to her so much. She was just one of those real special human beings. And my dad was great too. He died when I was young. He was the pleaser parent for sure, but I had my mom. So she had mom's look. That's pretty much all it took. This was my mom's look. She usually, if she was sitting down, it was always like this. I hated that. I hated my mom's disappointment in me. I couldn't stand it. So yeah, but she used to say, everything's temporary, sweetie, the good and the bad. So enjoy the good while it's here and just suffer through the bad. But you don't appreciate the good unless you've gone through the bad. So she was the most optimistic, make lemonades out of lemon I've ever known in my whole life. Everyone used to say that about my mom. The most positive, warm person and funny, very funny. She was great. I was adopted. Boy, I lucked out, eh? Okay. Oh, it was with another comment, sorry. Was I cursed being the only child? Well, I was kind of an only child, but not really. I have a brother, but he's so much older. It was really me and 3 adults. I have no memory of ever thinking he was a kid. You know what I mean? Like he was just so much older than me. So, but yeah, I was kind of like an only child. I had no one to play with in the house or anything. He wasn't playing Barbies with me or anything. So, and he didn't want my toys or I didn't have to share anything. But yeah, I thought it was fine. But I grew up, I was very comfortable around adults. I had a lot of confidence because I was around adults all the time. And I always thought my upbringing was very influenced by my mom, my dad, my Aunt Em, my Uncle Wally. I was around them all the time. They were my influences in life, and they were always laughing and having fun, and they were a very funny family, and I was around adults all the time. So, and there's pluses and minuses to that. One thing that was a minus, though, is I wasn't used to people being mean to me. So, like, I wasn't used to people butting in line in front of me in school, and like, I thought, what are you doing? You know, because adults don't act like that. So I really grew up around adults. And I didn't have a sibling pushing me or anything. And if anyone ever tried to bully me, luckily I was a very strong, confident kid. But so I was never bullied. But yeah, I was just thrown by all this stuff. I thought, why would you act like that? I just didn't understand it. Why would you grab something from someone or, or stick your tongue out at people? I had no concept of that stuff. So it was interesting. There's pluses and minuses to everything. Well, Christy, okay, they're jealous of each other. You're getting caught up in it. If you want to hire me, I know what's going on. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on there. So if you want to hire me, it might just be one session. But yeah, I'm not positive of what's going on there, but I have a pretty good idea. Anyway, okay. Yeah, kids, toddlers who hit you. I have a course on that. It's one of my mini courses. It's up in the bio there in the link. And it's toddlers who hit. It explains why they hit, how they do it, when they do it, how often they do it, and how you manage it if you're interested in that. Don't laugh at bad behavior. Yeah, never. Well, discipline is like a business transaction. I always say I was a crazy mom, but a calm leader. So I was just the crazy friend, the mom, kooky as anything. But if my kids ever stepped a toe out of line, I was a calm leader. It was all business. I didn't like that. So what do you think the consequence should be? Oh, sorry, mom. How about I brush your hair for 5 minutes or something like that? It was that easy. How much is it to hire you? It's all in the link because it's different prices depending on how many sessions you want. Okay. Yeah. Tips for introducing chore system. I'm going to do a video on that. That's a good one. How to introduce chores. Okay, how old are your kids? Oh, 7, 6, 4. Okay, you use the behavior board, and the rule on the behavior board for each child is follow chore chart. On a separate, it's all explained in the link above. And on a separate piece of paper, you have chore chart, and it just says 3 chores per kid, usually something like this: make your bed, clean up your toys at the end of the day, and put your laundry away, whatever. That's usually it. And dirty clothes in the hamper, something really simple. Keep it simple, and usually just 3 chores, quick, easy chores. But make sure your home is clutter-free and minimal. Because if you're expecting young children to clean up okay, the toy room's a mess, let's go clean it up, and then they don't, it doesn't work that way. It's got to be consistently managed. Get a toy rotation system going so that it's easy to do. My kids, from the age of 3, they had to make their bed, put their laundry away, dirty clothes went in the hamper, and put their toys away. Every single day. It took under 2 minutes because I'm very minimal and organized, and everything's clean and organized. There was an empty hanger where the shirt went. Everything was literally under 2 minutes to do all their chores. They didn't think anything of it. And I'd wait till, there's TV coming on as soon as you do your chores. They'd run around doing their chores. That's why I never told them what to do. They just knew you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. So make it manageable. And there's a consequence if they don't do their chores. They might have to make your bed or do your chores the next day. If not, there's a backup consequence because you can't always do that, right? Can you help? Help with what? Love the advice about minimal part. Yeah, I'm very much a clean, organized minimalist. I try and look like I'm a maximalist, but basically I know where everything is and there's a place for everything. And it just made everything easy with kids because there was a spot where everything went. So they knew that the Fisher-Price bus went there, the Lego went there. There was literally a space for everything and lots of room. But anyway, I had all sorts of management systems in place. And that's why everything was easy. Well, okay. This leads into, and this is the thing, I don't talk a lot about how I raised my own kids. I got respect when they were tiny, so I sailed right through the teen years. So I don't teach that. I don't teach you how to sail through. Like I teach you how to get respect as they get older. Because that most people who hire me, they have older kids, like maybe 3, 4 and above. People with toddlers don't tend to hire me as much. Although they're the ones that are on here, which is interesting, but they buy a lot of toddler courses, but they don't tend to hire me as much. But really, the sooner you hire me, the better, because you really want to sail through everything. But I'm not saying I don't market myself on here really, but what was my whole point? What age should chores increase? I didn't really have set chores with my kids. They had the basics, but if I said to my kids, hey, can you empty the dishwasher? They just did it. I didn't have really rules for my kids. They just went to bed. There was no real bedtime. I never told them to do homework. They just had self-discipline. They just did stuff. Like they knew that TV never went on unless their homework was done, or they just understood you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. That's why I never really disciplined my kids or told them what to do. They understood all this stuff from a very young age. I said, hey, the dishwasher needs doing. Can you just empty that? Oh, okay, sure. It was no big deal. Nothing's a big deal. Once you're a leader and you've got that mutual respect going with your kids, nothing's a big deal. That's what you want. That's where I want everyone to go. You got to earn that, though. You got to work for that. I put in the work when they were tiny, so it was easier. The older they get, the harder it is, and the longer it's going to take. Usually from about, I'd say 3 to 5 weeks, you can really see a difference. It's usually 3 to 6 months where everything's really settled in, if you're consistent. But yeah, anyone can learn it's a skill anyone can learn. It's just leadership, so that it's just like it's like a team, One thing I never put on my kids, and I was very careful not to do this. I'm extremely fussy. I'm not OCD. My daughter's OCD, so I know what it is. I don't have that. But I'm what you call anal. I'm extremely fussy. I can't put anything down, even a pen, unless it's put down exactly the way it should be. I just am very fussy about everything. I clean every day, but I never put that on my kids. That was just my way. I don't think anyone else should be like this. So yeah, when we talk about chores, I never made them go the extra mile. I did that. I did all that. I went the extra mile, but they just had to make their bed. Then if I didn't like it, I'd go in and make it the way I wanted it. So I never put that extra level of fussiness because I didn't want them to think that they were bad for not doing it, if that makes any sense. You're not as fussy as me and you should be. Like I didn't want to do that. You don't put your own, you don't want mini me's. You want them to be able to express themselves. By the way, my mom and dad were not fussy at all. I was born like this. It was just in me. I used to love going to friends' houses that had really fussy moms and I would watch them clean. I just loved it. So I was little when I was so I didn't want to put that on my kids though. I didn't want them to think less of themselves because they weren't fussy like me. They're not mini me's. They're not mini yous. They're their own people. Wouldn't you agree that a minimalist lifestyle is easier to manage? Well, 110%, but it's not necessary. You don't need to be a minimalist. I'm just saying, you asked how to make your life easier. I'm telling you, you don't want a lot of clutter around. It's not fair to ask kids to clean up clutter. I just think it's unreasonable. Even if they made the clutter, why have they got so much crap in the first place? Like it's just not necessary. Then don't expect them to clean if you're not willing to be organized and be a minimalist. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's your expectations are out of whack. But you don't need to be a minimalist. But if you want your house to always be clean and organized, you have to be a minimalist pretty much. And when I say minimalist, I'm not sleeping on a blanket on the floor. Like, I've got a mattress, but it's not, I don't have extra stuff. Like, I rarely buy stuff except for plants and stuff that'll stick on the wall. I rarely have trinkets or anything like that. My kids help, and if I need to go behind them, I do. I appreciate their little but big help. Yeah, yeah. Do you believe in saying no, and would you say no and explain why you're saying it every time? God, no. They hit? No. Here's the consequence. Why would I explain myself? I'm a leader. They know. They're not stupid. They know why you said no. There's no problem with the word no. That's that pussyfooting around kids stuff I just can't stand. Say it like it is. That was bad. You don't do it. Here's the consequence. Your behavior freebie isn't working. Then you need to hire me. That's like level 1. I teach level 10. So yeah, the freebie, some people are getting great results. It depends where you're at. If you're really struggling, that behavior board all by yourself isn't going to do much, right? Because there's other stuff going on. I'd have to figure that all out. Oh, there aren't consequences for a 2.5-year-old. Under 3 years old, it's all consistent corrective actions right in the moment, because they learn through repetition. It's like no, and if they hit with a toy, you say no, take the toy away, put it where they can see it. If they hit again with another toy, put it away. Say no, put it away, put it away. You might have to do it 100 times or more. But so there's no consequences. It's just corrective actions right in the moment, though. You got to do it right in the moment, because they're not about yesterday or tomorrow. They're about right now. That's all they see in front of them. My almost 2-year-old is just terrible, terrible, terrible. Like, so bad I can't go in public. Could just be a real feisty one, or maybe you're doing something wrong. I don't know. If you want to hire me, I could probably figure it out, whether or not it's something you're doing wrong, or are they just really feisty? They'll outgrow it usually. So I don't know. Put the toy away where they can see it has changed the behavior for the day immediately. Yeah, good for you. So you're doing it. It works, right? What about a kid age 12 that doesn't care about anything? Oh, I've never yet worked with a kid I couldn't find something that they cared about. Not once, not ever. I love being challenged. There's no way we can discipline my kid. They don't care about anything. Oh, yeah? There's always something. Always. Yeah, if you want to hire me, I could figure that out for you. Correct, convert, compromise. Don't know what you mean. Would love a course on coaching parents to be consistent and systematic. It's the tool, but a struggle. Well, that's my course. I actually have a course on how to get respect in 5 weeks. If you have a 3 to 12-year-old, it's in the link above. So it teaches you how to do that. By the way, that course is meant, I've been doing this now for 17 years, and I figured out exactly how to pace that course out. First 3 weeks are 3 different behavior boards. After that, we go off the behavior boards, and it's in the moment discipline. And that's when things are starting to really change, and you're starting to, because you're learning how to be a leader in the first 3. The behavior board is a teaching tool to teach you how to be a leader. After that, then you just start exercising it more, and it just gets easier. But that course, do not rush it. You can read through the whole course if you want, but pace it out over 5 weeks, but you can elongate it, but don't shorten it. Do not shorten it. I was working with someone the other day. They bought the course and they hired me for coaching. And you know what they did? They went right to week 4. And they knew they'd done it wrong. And then they just thought, forget it. And they just hired me. It was funny. Best parenting book recommendation. I've never read one. So I've never, ever read a book on parenting or kids or anything. I'm experience taught. So, but what I suggest is if you're going to take parenting advice, don't take it from someone who hasn't got these two qualifications. They have to have finished the job with their own kids because it is experience-based. You have to live with teenagers to be able to talk about them. And also they have to have had experience with hundreds of other kids with every single challenge out there you can think about. I've worked with hundreds of kids, delinquent teenagers, mentored them, and not one person has ever said to me, here's an easy one, Lisa. They always go, good luck with this one. So yeah, they have to be heavily experience-based and finish the job with their own kids. Otherwise, it would be like taking financial advice from someone with $10 in the bank. It doesn't make any sense. It is heavily experience-based. That's why I'm often hired by teachers, principals, child psychologists, living with teenagers. It's usually with teenagers, or not teachers and principals so much, but child psychologists. It's almost always teenagers. Living with them is different from just talking about living with them. You have to change. You have to be, anyway, it's the whole thing. Okay, so no, I've never read a book on parenting. Why would I? I only teach what I learned from kids. They taught me everything. How much is it to hire and how does it go? My girls are 5, 15, and 17, and that's, oh, I love teenagers. Okay, they're my favorite age. It's usually 5 sessions with teenagers. So what happens is you sign up and I give you some forms to sign. And then when you get that back to me, then I schedule out all the sessions weekly and it's all done on Zoom. So each week I give you something more to do. And but I'll learn a lot about you. And when it's on Zoom, the kids are not included in that at all. It's parenting. So when we're talking about it, I'll be watching your body language like you wouldn't believe. I'm going to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are because that's what helps me. I'm watching you. When I ask you to do something, sometimes parents will say, I can't do that. And I don't always push. Sometimes I'll give you a little break. But yeah, it's intense. But I'm obsessed with your results. So I'm going to push you as hard as I can without breaking you with teenagers because you're going to have to do stuff with teenagers you're not going to like. You're going to have to make amends. You're going to have to apologize. You're going to have to do all this stuff you don't like because you got to build the bond before you can even think about correcting behavior. You got to get respect before you can start to discipline teenagers. But in the end, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. And if you're not learning about yourself through raising your kids, you're missing out. You got to be vulnerable. I just loved raising my kids. It was the most fun I ever had in my whole life was mothering. I miss it. I got grandkids coming along, but it's not the same because it's like renting a car. It's like, and then they go, can I have my kid back? It's like, no, what? it's someone else's kid. I'll love them, but yeah, you got to learn. And you're never going to outsmart a teenager, so don't ever try it. Leadership is not about being smarter. It's about being fair and reasonable and respecting them. And yeah, I know I got some training when I was mentoring teenagers, troubled teens, and I didn't use any of it because it was a little bit trying to outsmart them. And I thought, it's not my style. I'm not going to do that. So I worked with connecting with them and getting respect, like mutual. I respected them first, though. That's the thing is parents say, well, why should I respect them? They don't earn it. And I say, because you have to hand it to them on a silver platter. It's just what you have to do. You got to give before you get with teenagers. That's the hard part with parents. They say it's not fair. And I go, right, welcome to raising teenagers. It's not fair. Okay. How much is it to hire you? That's all in my link above there. It has 3 different levels of coaching. With teenagers, it's almost always 5 sessions, often more. It depends on where you're at. Remember, I'm only teaching parenting. So it's just what you're able to manage. And a lot of parents have, trouble in their marriage. Maybe they're just divorced or there's something, maybe a parent dies. There's lots of other stuff that I have to help you work through. Because half of it is if a parent is going through turmoil with all this, I have to help. I'm here to strengthen you. I'm not here to beat you down. I'm here to challenge you, but I'm not here to beat you down. I'm here to build you up. So a lot of it is building up parents, especially because teenagers can beat you down, make you feel like crap about yourself. So that's my job to fix you up. And that's why I love all this stuff so much because the results are just so rewarding. It's wonderful. Okay. Advice on teaching inside voice. She's 2 and always yelling. Nah, can't teach that. How do you teach that to a 2-year-old? Yeah. If you can figure it out, maybe you could send me an email. I wouldn't know how to do that. That's how it goes with my mom. So I'm earning her respect. Oh, it's so hard. You don't quite know what you mean by that. So it goes with my mom. So I'm earning her respect. So I don't quite know what you mean by that. Another 1.5-year-old biting, scratching. They're just toddlers. They're just learning. They learn through consistent corrective actions, though. I've got a little mini toddler course on that, aggressive toddlers. You'll see it in the link above. Everything I've got to offer is in that link above, and free and paid. And anyway, so yeah, they're just going to do what they're going to do. Toddlers don't make any sense. Don't try and make sense out of them. I just did a few videos on that, and I said it's not, I always call them crazy because they are, but it's not even so much that they're crazy. They just haven't developed sane yet. They haven't developed sense yet because they're brand new, fresh human beings. One marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. They can't reason. They maybe have moments of clarity, but I'll tell you, if they see something they want, that clarity just flips right out of their head. Like, you know what I mean? Like they operate on impulse, and they all have different impulses. Some toddlers are feistier than others. Some are climbers, some are tantrumers, some will bite. They're all different. My mom always demanded respect, but would constantly put me down. An authority demands respect. A leader commands it because you give it to get it. I said to my kids, I don't know when, anyway, and I said, did you feel hurt? Because someone said to me once in my business, they said, well, your style, the kids don't feel like they have a voice. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? My kids never shut up. And so I said to my kids, this was years ago, and I said, do you feel hurt? And they go, oh yeah. So yeah, this leadership stuff is about giving respect to get it. And being a really good listener is a huge part of it. You want to be a safe place to land. So right through the teen years, they'll tell you everything because you're a safe place to land. That's what my mom was. I told my mom everything, and my kids told me everything. It's just the way it is. You be a safe place to land. You listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. You don't tell your kids what to do. You guide them to making good choices. You don't want to be proud of your kids' behavior. You want them to be proud of their own behavior. You see, you don't want to be, yeah. It kind of contradicts what I often say. If your kids are rotten, it's all your fault. So you take the blame. If your kids are great, it's all your fault. So take the credit. So you see, like that's when they're little more. So their behavior is 100% on you. So yeah, I took the credit for my kids' behavior when they were little, for sure. Everyone said, oh my God, your kids are so wonderful. They're just so easy. And I said, yeah, I put the work in. So, I took the credit for it. For sure I did. So kind of, my earlier statement kind of contradicts that. Good one here. You're not gonna like my answer, Dana. My son is 3.5, and all 3 of his pre-K teachers say he's extremely energetic all day. Any way to calm? No. The only thing that you could potentially do, look at his diet. Does he have a lot of food colorings and sugar and stuff that maybe he's sensitive to? Look, that's not my lane, but look it up, take him to the doctor or something. And then also he might just be super energetic. That will pay off down the road. That'll be wonderful down the road. But yeah, and also make sure that you keep him busy, keep him active. And by the way, swinging is not an activity. A lot of people say, well, I kept him busy. I took him to the park and he was swinging for a whole hour. Swinging is not getting energy out. You want them running around the swing set. You know what I used to do with kids who were super active? I'd say, okay, you can swing 3 times, then get off the swing, run around the swing set 3 times. I'd make it like we used to call it mini Olympics. So we work off some energy that way. So it just make it interesting for them. I usually did it with them. My 17-year-old is not what? Oh, how to deal with feuding with a 10-year age gap. 5 and 15. 15-year-old is jealous. And I said, yeah, you got to hire me for that. I don't know what kind of parent you are. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know your history with the kids. I don't know their history. I don't know what's going on. I can't. That's not a TikTok answer. Signed him up for soccer yesterday. Yeah, you got to burn off that energy. By the way, you'll never be able to do that. But you can help a little bit. But if they're energetic, like let's say they're hyperactive, you can never wear them out. But you can help feed that hyperactivity a little bit. Is that feeding it or anyway, squashing it a little bit? Okay, I'm glad I've got TikTok back. My TikTok shut down earlier. I freaked out. Well, no, I didn't freak out right away. I went like this. I went to do a live and then I couldn't do videos or anything this morning for about an hour or 2. Not good. Not a good morning for that. Dina Francis. Oh yeah. Hyperactivity. People often say to me, what do I do when they've got ADHD. This is where I learned all this stuff. My kids didn't have it, but when I worked with kids, that's where I learned all these skills. I learned it before I had kids. By the time I had my own kids, they didn't stand a chance of taking control because I already knew how to do it. So I learned it all. I was never handed easy kids. I was always handed difficult kids to work with. So yeah, this is where I learned it all, is through kids who were hyperactive, who were out of control, who were snarky, who were difficult, who did hit, that's where I learned all this from. And then by the time I had my own kids, I was ready, but they didn't have any of that. My son had tantrums, and that's really the only thing that was kind of challenging. But even then, oops, oh, sugar. Okay. Thoughts about a 6-year-old that gets angry very quick at big, small things. Okay, that's emotional dysregulation. What that says to me is you're not a leader. When you're a really calm leader for your children, they don't tend to do that. Their emotions tend to be calmer. They know how to deal with it. Yeah, that says to me that you're not a leader. I could be wrong. But yeah, work on your leadership skills. Remember, we're never fixing kids. We're teaching parents here. So work on your leadership skills. It tends to regulate their emotions because they've always got someone to talk to. You're always that really good, calm listener. And you never listen to tell them what to do. Like if my kids told me something, I'd say, oh, that's interesting. What do you think we should do? What do you think? I never told them what to do. I threw it right back at them. What do you think you should do? Oh, I think we should do maybe that. What do you think? Mom would say, yeah, that's an idea. What I might do is this, but maybe between the two, that might be a great idea there. I always try to encourage them to come up with their own answers. That's what helps them regulate their emotions because they feel like they're problem solvers and they can solve any problem. You see, I didn't try and solve their problems for them at all. Neither did my mother. No way. It's like, yeah, that is a problem. What do you think you should do about it? You can figure it out. Then we talk about it. 8-year-old girl who cries every day about going to school. No bullies, just anxiety. Yeah, I don't know. You might want my help with that. If it's anxiety, it could literally be like an OCD or an anxiety issue. So I'd have to assess that, whether or not there is something really going on. What kind of parent are you? Are you a parent that builds strong individuals, or are you facilitating that weakness? So I don't know. You want to build tough kids. We had a really fun, goofy household, but when they went out in the world, I didn't try and protect them at all. It's like I tried to arm them with things to do. I tried to strengthen them up so they could deal with anything out in the real world. But yeah, at home, their home life was lovely. So I made that really lovely, but the rest of it, oh, you got a difficult teacher? Good. Teach you how to deal with difficult bosses down the road. See, I never tried to protect them from the real world. So I'm wondering if you're maybe coddling her a little bit too much. I don't know. I could be wrong. You might want to hire me. I could assess it and figure it out. Like that's one of those things I'd have to assess before I could come up with a responsible answer. Okay, we have a new behavior board for no hitting and keeping hands to self, and for mommy, no yelling, calm. Perfect. Perfect. 7-year-old girl, people pleaser, how to stop it. I would need to know exactly what's happening. I need a specific situation. There again, that's probably, I hate saying this, and saying that all day today in this live, that would be coaching. I have to assess exactly how is she people pleasing. Is she doing it just because she wants to do that too, or is she sacrificing her own happiness for other people's happiness so that they'll like her? There's a difference there. Like some people just don't like confrontation, so they seem like a people pleaser, but they're not sacrificing their own wants and needs to do it. They're just avoiding confrontation. So there's all different personality types in there. Oh, how do you teach kids and teens about being careful on social media? Whew. I'm going to do a video on that. I'm just going to write it down. Social media safety. I don't talk a lot about that, and I'll tell you why. Because I specialize in crisis with teenagers. That's how I started my business, like life and death stuff. I've actually been on a few stings where freaks were intercepted and caught, and one I know of was put in jail. It's so creepy out there. I don't really want to tell you what I tell kids because I get kids on here and it's kind of scary what I say. I'd rather scare them and protect them than worry about scaring them and having a creep get to them. So what do I say about that on TikTok? Online safety. Okay. Just say to your kids, if you're ever talking to anybody online and there's not a live video where you're talking back and forth, and you be careful. They can even do that now with all sorts of apps. It can look like a live, it glitches though. So say if you're not talking to someone live, assume they're a fat old ugly guy sitting in his underwear. I won't go into it. But yeah, and so just assume that's who you're talking to. And they put a picture of, I used to say to my daughter, Justin Bieber. They put a picture of Justin Bieber, but here's what you're really looking at. And I had a picture I used to show them. Fat old creepy guy sitting there on the internet like this. So I said, that's probably who you're talking to. And also if they're being bullied online, I've done a whole bunch of stuff on this because I've worked with lots of kids who've been very into, I won't go into it, but self-harming because of online bullying. Shut it down. Bullies get bored after a week of no response. They just shut it down for a whole week or two. Shut down social media for a week or two, and the bully will move on. How do we hire you? It's up in the link above there. Yeah. Oh, I thought you said 2-month-old. I'm like, what? Okay. What's your take on a 21-month-old, because I don't see all that well, whose sleep has turned dreadful and separation anxiety day and night? 21 months. That's under 2. So what sparked that? They might have just had a nightmare and woken up and something scared them. I would use sound machines. Those, it doesn't go like that, but there are machines out there that make sounds, especially there's one that most of my clients have said works really, really well. I don't know the make, I don't sell this stuff. Actually, I never work with affiliates or anything. That's something I'd be willing to work with, and cloth diaper company. Those are 2 things I'd be willing to work with because they're things that I really believe in. But if you're not into cloth diapers, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I did that with my kids. I'm really into cloth diapers. But anyway, the sound machine that sounds like a womb, it is so loud you wouldn't believe it. It sounds like a train going by, but it also has sort of a heartbeat. It tends to calm them and make them sleep better, from what my clients have told me. So that's my best advice for that. White noise machine. Yeah, and don't use the Alexa because they can, because they can reprogram it. So, but yeah, white noise machine. Yeah, it's like that. But I don't know what it is, but a few of my parents have told me about it, and they've said it's a specific machine for little kids. Well, okay, good question. You're not gonna like my answer though. Afrahim. Afrahim. I probably said that wrong, didn't I? Sorry. My 8-month-old gets very angry easily. What should I do to avoid this? You can never avoid that stuff. You can just carry on as if they're not even upset and angry. So it's ignoring the tantrum or the anger, but you're not ignoring them because they're still a baby. So you're just, as soon as they start getting angry and that, just carry on as if nothing's happening. You're just calm as anything, no matter what. And you might want to divert them with maybe start reading a book or something. So yeah, some kid, that means they're going to have tantrums later. That's what that means. They're born with a temper or not. Like I never had a tantrum and I don't have a temper. My daughter never had a tantrum. She doesn't have a temper. My son had tantrums. He's more inclined to have a temper. He's 33. He's not tantruming, but it's just a basic nature you're born with. You're either born with it or you're not. So you can't get rid of it. You just, as they get older, they learn how to control it. That's all. I always ignore the tantrums. I give a look, are you done? If not, I look away. I used to do that. I wouldn't really get eye contact. It would be more like this. I'd be filing my nails and I might look down their way like this. Like I want them to know I know what they're doing. I don't want to look like I don't. If you're on the phone, it looks like you don't know that they're doing that. You want them to know that you know what they're doing, but this is how you're reacting to it. You're just filing your nails. It's really important to do that. You got to get that right. And they just, when you ignore tantrums like that, they decrease in duration, frequency, and intensity, and they just disappear. Takes time though. How old were you? Okay. Oh, Maisie, that's a cute name. How old were your children when you split from their dad, and how did they handle it? They were 9 and 14 years old, and initially they were shocked because we never fought, so they were just stunned, as was everyone else. And but he came over every night. We did it gradually. He moved out, but then he came over every night for dinner. And then they finally said, can you just have dad not come over anymore? Because they felt like they couldn't go on and do what they wanted to do. They had to entertain their dad. So they would just leave us alone in the living room. So stupid. We were splitting up because we didn't enjoy each other's company. So why on earth would we want to sit, So then that we just tried to make it gradual. We had no agreements or we didn't split up anything for years. Like, we always put them first. So, and they knew that. They really don't care if you're together. They just care that you get along and you love them. That's all. You always love your kids more than you hate each other. We didn't hate each other. There just wasn't enough emotion there to even hate each other. So, but yeah, you just got to put them first. We always put them first. That's how you do it. They were fine. They were very loved. And most people didn't know that we were separated because we still turned up everywhere together with the kids. They didn't even know. We got along just fine. We still spent Christmas together and, no problem. Personal stories and experiences. Yeah. It's always fun. I'm very careful with it because, especially when my kids were teenagers, because they're getting older, and I don't talk about them now that they're adults at all because they don't choose to be on here. It's my choice to be on here. I respect their privacy. So I'm very vague about it. But I do talk a lot about when they were little and funny stories like that. One of my favorite funny stories with my kids, I've told it a lot on here, is when my son was 5 years old. He must have seen another kid do it. He said to me, "I'm bored," in that snotty tone. I had never heard that tone come out of his mouth before. "I'm bored." And I said, "Oh, my precious angel, are you bored?" He instantly looked scared because he knew I was enjoying this and he knew it. And I said, "Come with mommy." And I took him in the laundry room, filled up a bucket and gave him a mop. He was never bored again. 5 years later, my daughter did the exact same thing. My son started laughing and she never said she was bored again either. So that was one of my favorite stories with my kids. "I'm bored," that snotty tone. I was like, what? I knew they would have heard it from someone else because they never spoke like that before or since. Okay. I don't know how old Cocoa Butter Aroma. I don't know how old your kid is, but let's say your kid is 5. I'm going to go with that because I've got a really good answer if he's 5. "He mostly behaves with me, but gets wild when I'm not around. I think I've been too strict on him." Okay. If he's 5 years old, he should be under if you're a leader, he should be under your leadership umbrella wherever he goes. When you're a good leader, when your kids are about 3.5, they are a reflection of your leadership everywhere. Everywhere. Um, it's just the way it is. They take your leadership umbrella with them everywhere. So they treat everyone with respect. If you're not a leader, they could be good with you and then rotten with everybody else. If you're too much the authority, because you're authority is parent through fear. Better that than the pleaser parent style that's so popular right now, though. That's a disaster. 7. Okay. Yeah. You got to work on, set yourself up more as a leader and not an authority. Okay, I'm going to do this one more question, then I'm going to go. Okay, because I like this question. Em, you've been here before. My 5-year-old bangs his tablet when losing a game. When losing a game, would you revoke the tablet until tablet, until they can handle anger? There's so many different things I would do. So he bangs. Okay, I'm just thinking. I got too many. Every time I have too many ideas, I stop talking. Okay, what are you? Wait a minute. He's 5. Okay, he's 5 years old. Bangs. I would say to him, I get a system. I would get a system in place for that. Try this first. Put down on the behavior board, no banging your tablet. If you do, it goes away for a whole week. I would put it away for a week because I wouldn't want that thing smashed. So that's on you. You're 5 years old, you bang that tablet, goes away for a whole week because that's damaging property. It's not just 24-hour media blackout. He can still look at the TV and he's still got screens, but that tablet, I would not allow a kid to break a tablet. He's 5, he knows enough about that. But what I would do is I would reintroduce it with a system. If he does, I would reintroduce it and I would say, okay, you can have 15 minutes with that tablet. If you don't smash it, then you can get it for 20 minutes tomorrow, 30 minutes the next day. You see what I mean? I would work on a system, make him earn it back. But yeah, that's a bit of a big deal. I don't like kids damaging stuff like that. That's an expensive item, right? So yeah, I would take that drastic step. He's still got TV and computer and your phone, whatever else. But yeah, that's what I would do. Okay, I got to get going. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking a lot lately because normally I'm so quiet. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and go on my link above. It's got everything I've got to offer for free and not for free. So check that out, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks for turning up. I really appreciate it. Bye now.